all of us have an idea how we think things are going to go. Obviously, it doesn't always go that way, but let's talk about that for you. No one would have expected, or no one plans for what your last 6 months have been like, in terms of your health and how that's really changed things for you. So talk about that, and how your health has impacted your life, and how this last 6 months has played out for you.
It's been extraordinary, Jim. It's been, it's been a lot of lessons. And a really big and a really central one was the conflation of self with what we do. You know, the creation of identity, self-concept based on what we've become good at, or enjoy. As my physical capacity has deteriorated, not all in a straight line, and very slowly, but steadily enough and with enough milestones that it's, inarguable. As my physical capacity has declined and it reaches points where I simply can't do something I used to be able to do, whether it's carrying something of any decent weight, cooking with cast iron stuff, or walking up a certain trail just because there's a steep patch that my legs aren't up to. Losing poses from my yoga practice was quite a period of time. It was like this one stretch where mostly the strength in my body had reached a certain point where it just wiped out the majority of my poses. And it was pretty life-changing.
Yeah, it's amazing how things that you never would have even thought about before can almost become an accomplishment in the day, and how things change, as to what you're hoping to do, and how that impacts your day to day.
Hugely. And the day to day just becomes a lot. I am right now dealing with, I wrote this down, swelling in my feet. Occasionally my water metabolism stops working super well, and I get an accumulation of water in my feet. Once in a while, to the point where, hard to put on shoes, hurts to walk. One time got really nasty nerve pain. So that happens every month or so, and so far has resolved itself. My right hip flexor, I have an old strain there that is just sensitive nowadays. So whatever it decides is too much walking, which is not very much. It'll be hurting the next couple days. Ever since my surgery in April, my right thigh has been numb. I can feel pressure on it, but that's it. Otherwise, it's like my whole right upper leg is asleep, and that's kind of trippy. Sometimes it hurts. Just kind of moving upwards through my body. There's, of course, the blocked intestine and its attendant phenomenon, the throwing up of bowel contents, which is a pretty big part of my life. How much I am able to throw up my bowel contents and manage the pressure in there does a lot for determining, the next thing, which is general intestine pain. It's irritated in there. Sometimes it's just kind of burny and crampy. And then we go over to the other side of my abdomen. My blocked intestines on the right. So on the left is the site of my former intestinal blockage. And right now, this pretty trippy thing is happening there, where the tumor, or one of the tumors, is trying to work its way out through my skin into the outside world. And it's just very slowly breaking down the skin, and it bleeds from time to time, and it really hurts. And it hurts fairly constantly. Kind of a stinging, aching, sharp, throbby, not particularly deep, but wincy a lot of the time pain. Which fortunately is fairly well controlled with the drugs we have here, plus cannabis. So that's a whole thing that takes a fair bit of energy. Staple. Oh yeah. They left a staple in me in my last surgery, and that hurts once in a while. Mostly when my intestines are fairly swollen up.
And I know you said a lot of this stuff, it's not a linear, it hasn't a linear path, so some things come and go. And so when these things come up, it's got to be a bit scary. Like, is this always going to stay like this, or is it going to get away? I'm sure that's a daily process for you.
Well, I don't know daily, but every time something shows up, it's like, well, is this it?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that happens is my liver enzymes have been pretty volatile. The first time that happened, we're like, oh, well, maybe this is it, because there had been some spots on my liver. And my kidney function one time just really tanked, but it came back. But we don't know it's going to. I don't know my feet are going to get better. I don't know if this day full of pain is going to have any less painful days following it. This whole business with the tumor worming its way out of my body like a science fiction movie. That's frightening. I mean, that one's frightening because it just makes the cancer so inarguably real. Just like, right? That's this thing that's killing me, doing its thing. Yeah. Yeah. Every time one of these things becomes big, don't know whether it's gonna go away or become small again. And it is frightening.